think we are live, sir.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I hope the audio and the video is fine. So, welcome to this session on DBMCI YouTube channel on the strategy for postgraduate medical entrance competitive exam with a special focus on the NEET PG 2026 exam. So, today's session will be taken by me. I am Dr. Rajat Jain, your faculty of radiology at Dr. Bhatia Medical Institute, and I'll be joined by none other than Dr. Aditya Gupta, Faculty of Pediatrics at DBMCI, and I think you all know. Welcome, Dr. Aditya.
Hello, sir. So I think we both are very excited for this session because now that NEET PG 2025, the results are there. Sure, the counseling will take a month or two to start and everything, but at least now you guys, anyone who has given the exam knows whether they are preparing for the next year exam or they are preparing for. I think I'm sure that you must have made the decision whether you will appear in this counseling, take what you want, or you're going to prepare for the next year's exam. And obviously there will be set of interns who will probably be preparing for the next year's exam. So that goes without any saying. So we wanted to address how do you prepare, how should you prepare so that you get the best possible desired rank in the next upcoming 8 to 9 months before the next year's exam is there. And also we wanted to discuss a little bit about the upcoming INICET, November INICET, who should prepare for it and who should maybe take their goals a little forward into time as far as NEET PG 2026 and INIMA is concerned.
So the basic question that I will be addressing in this session will be INICET, November exam is coming up, May INICET exam is coming up, NEET PG 26 is coming up. So how one should prepare? We will be talking about the difference between first reading and revision. We will be talking about the recorded lecture, internet-based live classes and face-to-face classes. We will be talking about textbook versus lectures. We'll be talking about when should you start writing GT, how should you do the GT review. We will be talking about how to make 20th notebook, plus a lot of questions that you will be answering or putting in the comment. We will try to address each and every doubt of yours that is going to be there in the comment section. This session should be a one-stop solution for all your need if you're looking for a strategy for the exam, right? And this we'll try to do it in a more of a chit chat session where I will be talking to Aditya will be talking to me, and we will be taking the doubts from you. But these are the questions that we'll be addressing. So please feel free to put the comments, whatever that is coming to your mind. So first question that we're gonna take is November INICET exam is coming up. We are sitting at 26th of August. And whether I should focus on November INICET exam or whether I should focus on May INICET or NEET PG. First of all, do I need to focus on INICET or not? So Aditya, first over to you.
Sir, right, sir. So sir, I'll start with a little bit of inspiration in the sense कि मेरी खुद की NEET PG में rank जो थी, and then I'll come to what are the key takeaways you can do from that. Okay, मेरी खुद की NEET PG 2017-18 जो भी था उस समय rank 6,000 के आसपास थी. This was in the month of January. I had 4 months, and from 6,000 rank I converted into a rank of 17 when it came to the May INICET. So फर्स्ट थिंग आई वांट टू गिव होप टू एवरीवन कि देखो, अगर तुम्हारी मे बी हो सकता है डिजायर्ड रैंक से कम हो, आई डोंट वांट टू गो इनटू द रैंक्स, बट डिजायर्ड रैंक से कम हो, कैन यू डू वेल इन नवंबर INICET? यस, डेफिनेटली. बट हु कैन डू वेल इन INICET? तो मैं जिस स्टेज पे था, तुम अगर सिमिलर स्टेज पे हो, अगर, एंड दिस इज अ फंडामेंटल थिंग आई रियली वांट टू एड्रेस, अगर आपकी फर्स्ट रीड पूरी हो चुकी है और आप रिविजन पे थे, फर्स्ट रीड मतलब एक बार 19 सब्जेक्ट, इफ नॉट 19 बट एटलीस्ट 17-18 सब्जेक्ट्स यू हैव डन, and uske baad you had given NEET PG. Sure, NEET PG mein maybe the day was not good, maybe you had not revised properly in the last 7 days, maybe us din exam mein brain farts ho jate hain, you make a lot of silly mistakes, but your first read was done and you now have material which you can revise 2 or maybe 3 times. तुम्हें पता है कि this is the thing that I can revise, I want to revise, and I can revise it 2-3 times properly before leading up to November INICET. Then nothing should stop you from giving November INICET and focusing on November INICET. But if you belong to that category कि जिसने NEET PG ऐसे मजे में दिया था, and पढ़ा नहीं था, 3 सब्जेक्ट पढ़ के दे दिया था, 4 सब्जेक्ट पढ़ के दे दिया था, you know, or you were never serious about your NEET PG preparation and maybe the rank jolted you कि अब अचानक से तुम्हें लग रहा है कि I want to crack this exam, then I would say that I'm not saying that don't give November INICET, but it will now then be a mock exam. If your first read is not complete, if you have not done the 19 subjects once, or you have done only 6 subjects or 7 subjects once, then your actual goal should be that by November INICET, you at least complete those subjects or even whatever the way you're preparing and give it as a mock exam. But your actual goal should be that I give the next year's May INICET, and assuming the NEET PG will also be in similar time frame, May or June next year, then you give that. So 2 clear cuts. If you were in the revision phase, sure, go for it. Go for November INICET. I always say that you can remove 1 or 2 zeros easily from your rank. 3 नहीं remove होते, but 1 and if you're lucky 2 zeros बहुत easily remove हो जाते हैं. तो अगर आपकी 10,000 rank थी, तो 1 zero तो बहुत easily remove हो सकता है. You can easily get into top 1000, and if you're lucky and if God favors you, you can easily get into top 100 also. 3 जीरो रिमूव नहीं होते कि अगर आप 10,010 यहाँ ना सडनली एक्सपेक्टिंग मेरी रैंक 1 आएगी, आ सकती है, obviously anything is possible, I don't want to give anything, but yeah, 201 to 20 removal is definitely possible. Be hopeful about that. मेरी 60,000 से 2 जीरो रिमूव होके 17 हो गई 6,000 से, आपकी 15,000 के आसपास है, आपकी रिविजन में प्रॉब्लम थी, एग्जाम अच्छा नहीं गया, who is stopping you from getting a top 100 or a top 50 rank? No one is stopping you that. Go for it. आपकी रिविजन कंप्लीट ही नहीं हुई थी, आपने स्टार्ट ही नहीं की थी प्रिपरेशन, और आप अचानक से 3 महीने में नवंबर आना निकाला जाते हो, नो, that will be a too rushed preparation, and better would be to give November as mock and prepare properly for the May and properly for the next year NEET PG.
Yeah.
So anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, you have put up everything brilliantly, and my point is very, very simple. Just ask yourself whether your first reading is completed or not. And if your first reading is completed and you are in a revision phase, you should write every exam with sincerity, and you should not be bothered about what was the rank that you have got, right? Because you do not know what was the specific reason that you have got a bad rank, right? And what is a bad rank according to me? A bad rank according to me is a rank that you did not want. That's a bad rank. And any rank that you wanted, whatever is a rank is a good rank, right? So there is nothing called as, if somebody says that a 400 is a good rank or a bad rank, I said whether you wanted it or not. If you wanted 400 is bad. You wanted 20,000, 20,000 is good. So nothing is good or a bad rank. So if you think that you've got a bad rank, just ask yourself a reason whether your first reading is complete. So let's first talk about what is the meaning of the first reading. So in any exam preparation, everybody should understand what is the meaning of a first reading. First reading is a thorough reading of the subject. And when I talk about a thorough reading of a subject, that means you have to read the things which makes the concept of that particular subject strong. Now, if you have done that during your MBBS, virtually what you are doing in your internship is a revision. Right, like first year you have read very, very thoroughly. Second year you read very, very thoroughly. You have read Robbins. You have read a part of the Harrison. You have read. I will not say that you have read Grant's Gray's Anatomy, but you have read BD Chaurasia pretty well. You have very, very regular during your MBBS.
And there were a lot of students who already make notes in their third and fourth year from a NEET PG perspective. आपने वो first reading उस समय third fourth year में कर ली है.
वो reading ना. So then every exam should be given with the utmost sincerity as the final exam, that this is the last exam that I am writing it down. And as a philosophy, I will not stop till the time I will get what I wanted. Lot of messages are there in the comment. Sir, I have got a decent rank in the NEET. Shall I attempt the INICET? Tell me whether your goal is being achieved or not. If your goal is being achieved, sorted. Your goal was always that you wanted to do, let's say, orthopedic at Nana Azad Medical College. Your goal was you want to do medicine in your state medical college. That is being achieved, sorted. Let us come out and go forward. But you think that this was not your goal. I remember Aditya, one of your senior was there. She got rank 1 in Delhi PG, and still she prepared for INICET, and she got rank 6, and she joined medicine. And when I asked her that what motivated you to prepare even after getting rank 1, she said, sir, NEET was never the aim. NEET was never the aim. The aim was always to do medicine in AIIMS Delhi. So that she was not satisfied even. So what depends is that whether you are satisfied with your rank, whether you want to call it as an end of your journey of the competitive exam or not. So don't stop till the time you get what you wanted, because in a long run, nobody will ask you at what age you entered into post graduation. Let me be very, very clear to you. Nobody will ask you, but you have to ask yourself. Let's be in a real world. आपने अभी तक 4 सब्जेक्ट पूरे किए हैं, और as Aditya has mentioned that you have just finished the internship, and you are not serious about the exam. You have just wrote the NEET PG just because you wanted to write an exam, and suddenly you are thinking कि नहीं नहीं नहीं, अब तो मैं 2 महीने में INICET करूंगा. That is, I feel, is I mean, anything can happen, but I will say that
a little unrealistic. A little unrealistic.
Best potential you might be able to get into May INICET as well as in the NEET PG 2026 exam. Lot of students are asking me, sir, when do you think the NEET PG 26 exam will happen? Let me tell you that nobody can tell you when the NEET PG 26 exam will happen. There is no fixed date. That even the person who has to write down the who has to decide and who has to put the notification, even that person is also not aware that when the NEET PG exam is going to happen. So don't stop thinking about this. But let me tell you that if you are not focusing on INICET exam, the first exam that you will be writing after that will be May INICET, which will be in the 2nd or 3rd week of May. So my first target will be, what should I do so that my best day should be the day of my final exam. My best day should be the May INICET exam. That is how I'm going to go forward. So now let us focus upon that what should be my strategy, or I should call it an ideal strategy to a NEET PG or a May INICET 26 exam. So Aditya, let's start from you. What do you think that, let us say that you are a student who has not done the first reading at all, or maybe little bit of reading from here and there.
4-5 सब्जेक्ट कर लिए, something like that.
Recorded lecture भी थे, आधा सुना हुआ था, आधा नहीं सुना हुआ था, कुछ 2 सब्जेक्ट पूरे भी किए हुए थे, but now you want to give one serious attempt. You have almost 10-11 months available with you. How you will start? Let us start from this.
So basically, sir, what not just me, this is not something which I followed, this is something which every person who got a good rank according to them followed. Ki everyone will end up telling you need at least 3 to 4 readings or 3 to 4 revision properly. So, and I will say you this thing exactly the same thing only, that you need at least 3 to 4 revisions before you end up giving the best day becomes your May INICET, or let's assume उस समय तुम्हारा NEET PG भी होता है. तो if we are today in August 26, मानता हूँ 1 September से स्टार्ट करते हो, फॉर एग्जाम्पल, है ना, 4 दिन हमने और मस्ती मार ली, या स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम 1 September. तो देखो, फर्स्ट रीडिंग इज अ लिटिल थॉरो रीडिंग, राइट? इट नीड्स अ लिटिल टाइम, ऑलराइट? तो no, I don't know people who completed in 1 or 2 months, to be very honest. Even when I did also, I took around 4 to 5 months. So minimum लगते ही हैं, bare minimum लगते हैं. तो if you're an average, little above average student, जैसे भी आप student हो, आप 5 महीने तो लगा के चलो, आपको लगेगा टाइम. 4.5-5 महीने तो bare minimum आपको लगेगा टाइम. तो आपने 1 September को स्टार्ट किया, तो I would say your goal should be to complete it in the first week of February. That should be the goal. हो सकता है 1 हफ्ता जल्दी हो जाए, और अच्छी बात है, 1-2 हफ्ता जल्दी हो जाए, मिड जनवरी हो जाए, बहुत अच्छी बात है. ये हो सकता है 1-2 हफ्ते बाद में हो, इट गेट्स कंप्लीटेड इन द 2nd week, 3rd week of February. But if you complete your first thorough reading, okay, if you complete your first thorough reading by January-ish, February-ish, you are in the safe zone. You are at a place where you have ample time for revision and to improve your marks drastically. तो I took an interview of All India rank 66 this time. उसने ना पहला the first time he gave a GT rank आई थी, like GT score was like 100, 110. 4 महीने, 4 months did revisions, and that from 100 score it became rank 66 basically. तो आपकी first reading के बाद हो सकता है GT score might not that be high, but trust me, as the revisions start, the GT scores increase very, very rapidly. So your goal first should be you have a revision by January end, beginning of February, mid February तक आपका खत्म हो रहा है, you are in a very safe zone. From mid February, March, एक revision, April, एक revision, another revision, 2 revisions आपकी हो गई, and then last 10-day booster revision, which I always talk about, where you are consolidating all your, where you're consolidating all the volatile material, all the most important facts, the repeated topics, and जो आप 20th notebook अच्छे से revise करके finally you give your best foot forward on the day of the exam. Let's say exam June में ही होता है, then you have another extra month for revision. your preparation will become even stronger, your your revision will become even more refined by that point of time. तो ये बहुत ही सिंपल बेसिक स्ट्रैटेजी है which everyone follows. आप फरवरी में खत्म करो, फरवरी मार्च में आप एक रिवीजन करो, अप्रैल में आप एक रिवीजन करो, एंड एक लास्ट 10 डे रिवीजन या लास्ट 15 डे, अगर आपको 10 डे तो कई लोगों को लगता है कि बहुत ही कंप्रेस्ड हो जाता है, बट आई वुड स्टिल रिकमेंड लास्ट 10 डे रिवीजन. आप एक लास्ट 10 डे रिवीजन मई में करो एंड यू गिव योर मे INICET या राउंड अबाउट नीट पीजी. This is my simple,
So I think
straightforward in terms of, yeah.
very, very nicely summed up. I mean, the entire session you have summed up in these 2-3 minutes. Aditya, I was going through a tweet. One of the student who has got some 1100 rank, and that he has written a very beautiful post in the Twitter about that these resources that he has used, and then anatomy, physiology, biochemistry. He's given all 19 subjects, and then he's written that anatomy from rapid revision, physiology from this rapid revision, and all these sources were rapid revision and short course and all, right? But then one of the student in the comment, one of the person comment asked that, okay, have you read the main notes also? He said, yes, I have read the main notes before the revision. So this is a very important point that I want to tell you, that no matter what people are unnecessarily telling you, you do not reach to your highest of your potential with any revision program. Let me be very, very clear to you. No matter what you see as a packet, what somebody is telling it to you, you ask them genuinely. You need to have a sound knowledge either from your MBBS, and if not from the MBBS, then you have to read that subject very, very thoroughly. So your first reading is actually gonna decide that where you will end up. A lot of
And
time you think it's a revision, it's your first reading that is gonna decide. So
ये
don't take shortcut in the first
ये
reading.
5 महीने do it properly. And I'll say, sir, कि inherently you know that what your state was in MBBS. मतलब we can't, अगर कोई अभी मेरे को बोले कि सर सारे 19 सब्जेक्ट इसके क्या, आई हैव टू डू मेन नोट्स एंड एवरीथिंग, नहीं यार. अगर इफ यू न्यू, मतलब अगर कोई मेरे को बोले कि बायोकेमिस्ट्री में कर ले, तो मैं नहीं करूंगा, क्योंकि मेरी एमबीबीएस में बहुत स्ट्रांग थी. आपको खुद पता है कि आपने एमबीबीएस में कितना अच्छा किया हुआ है. यू कैन टेलर योर प्रिपरेशन अ लिटिल बिट अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट. नो वन इज सेइंग दैट यू स्टार्ट फ्रॉम द अनाटमी का ए एंड रेडियोलॉजी का वाई तक आप जाओ, एवरी वर्ड यू रीड फ्रॉम मेन नोट्स. नो, आप अपने हिसाब से टेलर करो. आपको पता है 4 सब्जेक्ट वीक थे, मेरी पैथ वीक है, माय पैथ इज वीक, माय फार्मा इज वीक, माय OBGY इज वीक. तो इनमें गिव अ लिटिल एक्स्ट्रा टाइम एंड डू अ लिटिल मोर थॉरो रीडिंग एंड देन कम टू अ रिवीजन सोर्स. आपको पता है कि दिस इज स्ट्रांग, देन यू कैन डायरेक्टली मूव टू द रिवीजन सोर्स और रिवीजन वीडियोस और रिवीजन कोर्स लाइक दैट. तो ये आप अपने हिसाब से टेलर कर सकते हो. बट व्हाट वी आर बेसिकली सेइंग इज दैट इन 5 महीने में मेक द मटेरियल that is there for revision over the next 2 months, 1 month and last 10 days. और इन 5 महीने के बाद there should be no conceptual non-clarity. Broadly, for the most important topics, your conceptual clarity should be there. It shouldn't happen that you are in the month of March and तुम्हें ABJ analysis नहीं आता, बिल्कुल ही नहीं आता, right? कि तुम्हें पता ही नहीं है कि नॉर्मल पीएच क्या होता है एंड एवरीथिंग लाइक दैट. जो बेसिक कंसेप्ट्स हैं तुम्हें पता ही नहीं है कि जीसीएस स्कोर कैसे करते हैं, व्हाट इज जीसीएस. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. 5 months में योर गुड कंसेप्चुअल रीडिंग शुड बी देयर. उस इन रीडिंग में और क्या क्या करना है, वी आर गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट दैट एज वेल. एंड देन बाय दैट एंड ऑफ बिगिनिंग ऑफ February यू शुड हैव योर मटेरियल फॉर रिविजन रेडी. रिवीजन के टाइम पे रिवीजन मटेरियल नहीं बनाना होता. विल टॉक अबाउट दिस आल्सो कि रिवीजन के टाइम पे रिवीजन मटेरियल नहीं बनता. रिवीजन मटेरियल साइड बाय साइड बनता है. फर्स्ट रीड में आप थॉरो रीड करते हो, साइड बाय साइड अपना रिवीजन मटेरियल आल्सो यू कीप ऑन क्रिएटिंग.
Let's talk first reading first. Let's first complete the first reading, then we're gonna go to the revision, then we're gonna go to the GT, right? So in the first reading, my suggestion is, as Aditya has mentioned, 5 to 5.5 month is a usual time that you're gonna take. You are a very, very fast reader, you want to do it, you can do it. But I believe that they keep a target of 5 to 5.5 months that you want to do it, right? Now, how to do this first reading? So first thing that you have to do in the first reading is you have to identify the resource that you will be using it, right? Now, this is an extremely important point. A lot of time, and in today's time, there is a plenty of resources which are available. So now I can divide these resources into 2 groups. The first group is that which platform to choose, right? Whether you should go with Bhatia, whether you should go with B Institute, C Institute, or even in a platform like let's decide that you have decided to choose Bhatia. Now I have 3 ways to learn. First is a recorded lecture. The second is internet-based live lectures, and third is our face-to-face classes. So what is the fundamental difference between them? Why there is so much of confusion into this particular part, and what a smart student should take a call about these three things? Aditya, do you want to take it up?
श्योर सर, देखो इसका एक सिंपल फंडा है लाइफ का कि अ, या तो खुद में दम रखो या कोई तुम्हें पीछे से धक्का दे. Either you yourself have the innate discipline. There is an innate immunity, there is acquired immunity. Similarly, either you have innate discipline that you are from, you can wake up at 8 o'clock, you can start studying at 9 o'clock, you'll study for 2 hours, take a break, then again study for 2 hours. If you are someone who's that disciplined, then I would say that then have the then have the convenience of recorded lectures. You prepare from your home and do that. If you are someone who is not that disciplined, then a little bit of guided learning, not little bit, guided learning will be better for you. Especially if you someone who has all, and I really want to emphasize this, कि अगर तुम्हें, if you have already failed, तुम्हें पता है कि हो सकता है कि तुमने, you would have used recorded lectures earlier, and people know, sir, खुद को पता होता है कि हम कितने पानी में हैं, where we stand. If you feel those that I can do it, go ahead. आप में discipline है, आप करो, आप वही करो. पर आपको लगता है नहीं यार, I am not disciplined, I need someone beside me to see him study or see her study makes me compelled to study. और someone, अगर मेरे को कोई थोड़ा डंडा मारता है तो I'm a little better to prepare and I'm a little better in my preparation, I'm more disciplined in my preparation, then don't shy away from it, right? So this is two different ones. You can go for recorded lectures if you feel that I am disciplined, I'm extremely disciplined, I have that innate discipline. If you feel like you don't have discipline, then I would, even at this stage, I would say, yeah, platform doesn't matter. Go for either some face-to-face class. हम लोग यहाँ भाटिया के फैकल्टी हैं, बट वी वांट बेटर, गुड फॉर यू ऑल्सो, राइट? डजंट मैटर, आप कोई भी प्लेटफॉर्म ज्वाइन करो, उसकी बात ही नहीं हो रही. अगर आप में डिसिप्लिन नहीं है, please go to a face-to-face class. If you feel face-to-face classes are a little tiresome for you, you want to prepare from the comfort of your home also, then online internet-based online live lectures are also very good option, जिनमें you will get the material of the face-to-face classes, but at the comfort of your home. That's the only thing.
No, I mean everything else is secondary. The single most important aspect in order to get your desired result is discipline, right? I will say that there is a river, there is a pond, you want to cross the pond, you know how to swim, you can do that, but you don't know how to swim, you need a support, you need a boat, right? So either you are disciplined from within. It does not matter your friends are going where, it doesn't matter that you do not have an urge to scroll through the reels. You have decided that you have to study for 10 hours in a day, you are studying. आपको 9 बजे उठ के पढ़ने बैठना है, आप पढ़ने बैठ पा रहे हो. But my understanding is 5% of the people are like that. 95% of the people need a forced discipline. Forced discipline का मतलब क्या होता है? लोगों को देख के वो काम करते हैं. जब तक कोई देख नहीं रहा तो वो काम नहीं करते. सोच के देख लेना अपने आप. मैं आपके ऊपर कैमरा लगा देता हूँ, आपको दिखता है 5 people are watching you where you are working or that, or does not matter whether somebody is watching you or not, whether you're working or not. That is how you identify that whether you are internally disciplined or not. So if you are not internally disciplined, now let's be very, very practical on this. You have got a rank in this year and you are not satisfied with your rank. You know the reason with it. You know that, do you think that no matter what you write, no matter what you say, no matter what excuse that you give, you know it from within, right? You know from within. A lot of students are telling me that their rank is 40,000. Look at your GT score. What was your GT score that was coming up? Let us come in a real world, because what I want is best for you. At the end of the day, it's your rank, it's your life. You have to live with that particular life. We can only guide you, we can only motivate you, we can only mentor you to reach to a particular place. At the end of the day, it is your life. You have to go and you have to live with this. Deep inside, you know that one of the fundamental reason was that you did not study the way that you have to do, right? If you have already taken an attempt and you think that the fundamental reason is you could not study the way that you want it, then you need an external support. Then you need a guide, you need a guided learning, right? As far as recorded lectures are concerned, almost everybody has an access of a recorded lecture. Everybody. right? What is differentiating people is that those recorded lectures, if they are being used by an inherently disciplined person, they reach to a height. But all those people, when they are being backed up by a guided learning, then they are also able to reach to that particular height. Aditya, there was a very interesting point that happened with me in a class. I want to share it with you, and I want to share it with everyone over here. After my class, I got a message from a student that, sir, when you were taking the class and you were asking it, you were taking an interactive class, there was a student who was sitting just next to me and he was answering all the questions that you were asking. And I was barely able to understand the question, and before that, he was able to answer this. So, my first reply, I said, कि बच्चे हो सकता है that student has attended my class in the past, and that is why he knew the answer. He said, nahi sir, I am seeing the student from many other classes and he was able to answer in the other classes also, and this is the first time he is attending the class. So I said, that means he has read very well during the MBBS, so obviously he will get a credit of what he has read, but don't worry about it, we are equalizing the difference. He knew it beforehand, you know it after attending the class, so the net result is the difference is equalized now. And now if you will be able to work hard, probably you will be able to reach to that level also.
Easily
That
able
person
to.
has studied well, but he will definitely get a credit of that. I mean, I'm not discounting that he will definitely, but now this guided learning has equalized to a very very large extent, and that is what is the broad concept of a guided learning. We always say that in a guided learning you have given all your worries to us. The only worry that you have now is you have to just follow what we are telling.
मेहनत
That's all.
करनी है फिर आपको सिर्फ एक बार गाइडेड लर्निंग में द स्ट्रैटेजी क्या करें कैसे क्या करें उतना नहीं है कितना पढ़ें कितना नहीं यू नो कि दिस इज द मटेरियल आई गॉट अब आपको सिर्फ मेहनत करनी है टू रिमेंबर रिवाइज and understand that material. That is the best advantage of guided learning. And obviously you have regular tests. I won't go into that and all, but that's the advantage. That now your only effort, your mental peace has come. Ki a lot of things being taken care by the other thing. My only thing is कि मैं अब मेहनत करूँगा. So that is the main thing that I am going to say about that.
And in terms of guided learning, if you can attend a face-to-face class, that gives you the maximum level of discipline because you have to sit in the class. But because of your own circumstances, if you are unable to join a face-to-face classes, internet-based live classes, we have a DBMCI 360-degree live program, which is an ideal program for you if the face-to-face classes are not available in your city, or you are not able to travel to that particular city to get that particular level of discipline. So as far as first reading is concerned, my suggestion to everyone is, please be thorough, irrespective whether you are using a recorded lecture or live classes or face-to-face classes. You have to attend all the lectures, number one. Second, you have to solve questions, number two. And number three, you have to start writing GT. Lot of time people ask me that when should I write my first GT? I say the day you have decided that you want to write a PG entrance exam. That should be the day when you should write it. So I was taking an interview of rank 4, I remember. She said, when I asked her this question, she said, so the best day to write GT was yesterday. The next best day is today. So I believe that the GT should be started the day you have become serious in your preparation, but the frequency of the GT will vary. If you are doing your first reading, you should write 1 GT per month. If you are in the revision, you should write 2 to 3 GTs per month. If you are into second revision, you should write 3 to 4 GT per month. And you have to make sure in the last 15 days
You don't give a
before your
GT.
exam, don't write a GT. Right? This is a very, very simple philosophy of writing a GT. Every GT will increase your score by 1 or 2 extra correct. Every GT. So trust me, if you have written 50 GT, your 100 correct have increased. 100 corrects have increased by writing 50 GT, and that is how it should be done. So now let us talk about Dr. Aditya, how a GT review should be done.
So like you said, GT frequency is important, and You start, like you said, in the first beginning, आप once in a month या once in 2 months अगर आप GT दे रहे हो, that's good enough. But revision में आपकी frequency बढ़ जानी चाहिए. GT में आप 4 तरीके से you can divide the question into 4 categories. First in simple, correct and incorrect. And then correct you can easily then divide into basically कि मैंने पढ़ा था इसलिए correct हुआ. And there will be some questions, some 10-15 questions जो कि तुक्के में सही हो जाएंगे. You just took a guess and you got it correct, right? Then there will be incorrect question. Incorrect question, again, I will say that there were topics which you had read, you probably forgot, or your concepts was wrong in that, and that's why, but you had studied that topic. And then there will be certain question, there'll be 10-20 questions in every GT which will feel like कहाँ से आ गया यार, ये कैसा question था, ये तो मेरे को समझ ही नहीं आ रहा, like right that. So you don't need to review the questions which you got correct and your concepts are fine. Being very honest, वो तुम्हें already आता है. Your goal in GT is always to review your mistakes and learn from your mistakes. Alright. So जो सही हुए थे उनमें से जो तुक्के सही हुए थे उनको रिव्यू करना है, बट बाकियों को रिव्यू नहीं करना. So those questions which you got correct but they were a little guesswork, understand why they were a guesswork. Maybe you had studied, not revised. Maybe you had you had a wrong concept, or maybe that particular portion was not studied. Understand that why, what you had done, and it will be the easy part to review because you already got it correct. At least your thinking was on the correct line. That's why you were able to make that educated guess. If I come to the incorrect one, so incorrect if you had studied a topic and got it incorrect, then please mark it down, because these are your weak topics that despite studying them, you are not getting them correct. Immediately revise, or at least write it down somewhere that yaar ye meko last 10 day mein, if it is let's say something which you need to rote memorize, ye meko last 10 day mein revise karna hai. Best example, Pete's ka milestones. Agar milestone despite reading you are getting incorrect because you know ki I'm not able to remember them properly, ensure that they are in your last 10 day revision plan properly, so that you're able to revise them, right? And maybe from a radio perspective, so for example, that agar jo conceptual question sahi hai ki air is going to be black on x-ray, उससे रिलेटेड कोई क्वेश्चन है, रिवाइज करने का कोई पॉइंट नहीं है. बट अगर कोई कॉजेज ऑफ मिलरी टीबी या कॉजेज ऑफ मिलरी ऑन एक्सरे इज देयर, तो उन चीजों को आप रखो नोट्स में, आप रखो कि मैं लास्ट टाइम में रिवाइज करूंगा. एंड जो क्वेश्चन गलत, द क्वेश्चन व्हिच आर रॉन्ग एंड यू फील दैट यू हैव नॉट स्टडीड और यू फेल्ट दे वर नॉट इंपॉर्टेंट, जस्ट अंडरस्टैंड वेदर they were genuinely not important. Maybe they were actually questions which were made. There are certain filler, and every GT will have 10 to 20 filler questions which are just there for the sake of being there. They're actually not example important for exam. There will be certain questions which you got wrong, you had not studied, and but are actual important PYQs or important PYTs. Up unko definitely you revise them. There is no harm in not revising them. There is you have to revise those questions which you got incorrect, you had not studied, but are important PYTs, you have to them. But if there are questions which you got wrong, you had not studied, and they are not PYTs, you can probably leave them also. Unless you are already maybe in a 170, 165 plus zone. जब उनको भी कर लो, रट लो, कोई नहीं. But अगर for most students, I would say, if it's not an important PYT and you have not studied and you are getting it wrong, it probably doesn't matter if you got it wrong. But if it's a PYT, you got it wrong, you have to read that topic.
So the 2 points that I want to add into this, Aditya. The first is that see, what I used to do is that I started writing GT pretty early when I was a third year MBBS student. But the problem is that in that time I have not studied all the subject. So my predominant aim of writing GT at that point of time was just to see that which subject that I have done, how I'm performing in those subjects, right? So like let's say I have read ENT and ophthalmology and I'm writing a GT, and I know that I have read first year and second year. So the GT, my aim was not to look at that what I did with the surgery and medicine, but how many questions of the ENT and ophthalmology I did wrong, right? So this is also a very, very good area that I want to recommend everyone is, now let us say that you are writing a GT in, let's say you have joined our program, let's say you have joined face-to-face classes, or let's say DBMCI live 360-degree plan you have taken, and your 4 subjects have been completed, and after 4 subjects you have written a GT. Now this GT has got 19 subjects. Now among these 19 subjects, some of the questions that you will solve on the basis of MBBS knowledge, but let's say you have covered radiology, pediatrics, OBG and biochemistry. Now let us try to identify that out of these 4 subjects, how many questions in the GT you are able to do right. That is a very, 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 very important area, because imagine that after reading radiology, you are doing questions in the GT wrong. and that too immediately after that. What will happen after 6 months? What will happen after 8 months? So that means there is an area that you have to work upon. So specifically in the first reading, my major focus will be the number of subject, and do not get disheartened by your less score. The aim of a GT score is to see your progressive improvement, right? Those who have studied radiology, you remember I talk about the breast kinetic curve on a contrast enhanced MRI. In a GT, it has to be a type 1 curve. What is a type 1 curve? Gradually progressive enhancement. There has to be a gradual improvement in your score. You have got 100 correct, you should see next time it has to be 110 correct. Next time it has to be 120 correct. Next time it has to be 125 correct, 130 correct, and the highest score on the GT should be on your DOB
exam.
That's all. Never before that, never after that. That is the area that you have to focus on. Right? 2-3 points that I want to mention that I am seeing in the chat is, bache, if you are an FMG student who have cracked the exam, please remember a qualifying exam is different from a competitive exam. The aim of a qualifying exam is when everybody is working towards one goal. Unfortunately, in a competitive exam, you are competing with your friend. I always say that the biggest problem that I have with the NEET PG 26 exam, or for that matter, any INICET or a NEET PG exam, you're competing with your friend.
It's a zero sum game. कि आपको अगर आप अच्छा कर रहे हो तो हो सकता है आपका दोस्त बुरा कर रहा हो.
Yeah. So this is not there in a qualifying exam.
Yeah, it's not
this
there
is not there in an FMG screening exam. So every question matters here. Now the game becomes of 20 questions. Now what you did with those 20 questions, I always say this. Now see this year NEET PG 26 result. If you want to get rank 1, please understand this. The average score that you are looking at is around 700 to 720. This is rank 1 score. And if you want to get a rank 50,000, what you need is 400 score. So that means, what is the difference between rank 1 and rank 50,000? 300 marks, right? 400 and 700. So that makes, do you know how many questions? 60 questions. Because plus 4 and minus 1, every question is not 4 marks, every question is 5 marks.
5 marks.
So that means the NEET PG exam is not a game of 200 questions. It's a game of only 60 questions. बच्चे 120 क्वेश्चन ठीक करके तो 50,000 रैंक आनी है. तो if you think, as somebody has mentioned, a lot of questions came from short course. अरे बच्चे 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 क्वेश्चन तो कोई भी सॉल्व कर देगा. प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड दिस, राइट? तो वो 120 क्वेश्चन से तो 50,000 रैंक आएगी. द गेम इज दैट 120 to 180 क्वेश्चंस.
Or at least 160, at least to 160 that you get a top 2000 rank.
What I'm telling you is that this is the entire game. Total preparation, any student who's listening to me is aiming between rank 1 to 50,000. कोई मेरे को इसलिए सुन रहा है कि उसको 50,000 से ऊपर रैंक चाहिए, तो मुझको नहीं पता, उसको सुनना ही नहीं चाहिए मुझे. करेक्ट? तो the area that I'm targeting, when I am preparing somebody, I am saying that I am preparing you to get a rank between 1 to 50,000, not beyond that. You don't need any guidance for getting a rank above 50,000, right? So first focus on this particular area. Aditya, I want to touch upon a very, very sensitive topic, and that topic is, a student has attended all of the classes and he has not got the rank that he was looking for. Basically, he's not satisfied with the rank. What he should do?
Sir, revision. The answer is revision and more MCQ practice. It's very simple. Revision and more MCQ practice. आप source change मत करो. Doesn't matter. आपने पहले कोई और coaching किया तो आपने भाटिया किया था, आपने कुछ और किया था. Doesn't matter. आप source को same रखो. Revise it 3 to 4 times and do more MCQ practice. This MCQ practice has a ladder. You do ensure that your PYQs and your PYTs of the past 5 to 7 years are thorough. And at the same point of time, you give GTs more frequently. One very common theme amongst people who have done the material properly but could not get a good rank, sir, is very simple. That either their revision in the last 10 days faltered, कि उस समय उनको समझ ही नहीं आया, they got very flustered with that revision, or their MCQ practice was not, you were reading but you were not giving GTs, or you were giving GTs once in 3 months or once in 2 months, like that. So increase your GT frequency because you have already done the revision, you have already given up the notes, and increase your MCQ practice and go for revision. In fact, if you have already done the notes and if you're read it properly, these are only one small set of students who can always go for a retrograde revision. कि आप पहले MCQ सॉल्व करो, पिछले 5-7 PYQ सॉल्व करो और GT दो, और उसके बाद अपने नोट्स को रिवाइज करो. नोट्स और अच्छे से रिवाइज होंगे. Retrograde revision will help you, especially if you're already done with the syllabus once. You just faltered on the day of the exam, and there will be some set of students who were probably getting good scores in GTs, but on the exam day they faltered. You can, especially for some subjects, have a very fast revision strategy in the form of retrograde revision, but obviously I don't recommend it for someone starting now. But for these people who maybe miss the mark on the exam day, uh, fundamentally there are only two problems. Either your revision was lacking, so that the volatile things you could not answer on the exam day, or your MCQ baseline MCQ strategy and how to solve an MCQ thinking was lacking because you did not give a lot of GTs. So these are the two main fundamental problems, and if you master them, nothing is going to stop you from getting a good rank in the next exam. Anything you want to add, sir?
Yeah, so I will say that if you have, so first of all, we have to identify the reason that why you have not got the rank that you were looking for. You have to look at the shortcomings. What were the reasons? Were you able to study to the best of your effort, right? And I believe that if you have already made your notes, then there is no point changing it. We can back it up with revision. You can think of it TND, because that will give you more structured things in terms of revising it in a simple way. And a lot of students are asking me about a TND. Please remember, I am a big fan of TND programs. The only
Myself,
coaching that the only coaching that I've ever done in my life are
मैं
TNDs.
खुद से TND का ही
I
fan
did
हूँ,
a
मतलब
TND during the UG. I did a TND from Akash, and then I did the TND program during my PG entrance exam preparation. That's the only coaching that I've ever done in my life. The reason of doing a TND program in PG, I was a disciplined student, but my internship was not letting me be disciplined, because internship was so hectic that I knew that if I will not be forced to write a test, because everybody wants to remove the immediate pain. तो उस दिन थक रहे हो आप, और आपको पता है कि यार चलो आज कुछ नहीं है तो कुछ छोड़ दो. And so that is the reason that I joined a TND program in the internship. But my reading was already completed during my MBBS. I was very regular. I have already completed all my subjects except 2 or 3 subjects when I entered into the internship, right? So if you have made your notes, if your notes are thorough, you have done the PYQs once, then definitely TND is one of the biggest boost for you, right?
based on
If
definitely.
you're starting now, you want a discipline, I will say close your eyes and join any of the DBMCI guided learning program, either a face-to-face or a DBMCI 360-degree program, where you will have 5.5 months to complete your course, which will be followed up by a TND, where you will be revising it, which will be backed up by a one shot, which will concise it automatically for you. So before I talk about one shot, Aditya, let us talk about 20th notebook and a wrong copy. Lot of students keep on asking me about these 2 points. So your views on these two.
So 20th notebook जो है, that is basically a summary of, let's put it this way, 20th notebook is a summary that essentially you're going to revise in the last 10 days. Like always say, you're not preparing for the exam, you're preparing to be able to revise in the last 10 days before the exam. तो कई लोग 20th notebook बनाते हैं. मैंने कोई 20th notebook नहीं बनाई थी, I'll be honest, but मैंने हर subject के concise notes बनाए थे. That's what I had done. And most important thing, this I really want to emphasize, कि revision की planning ना first reading में ही होती है. You have to plan for a revision in the first reading itself. So when you are doing your first reading, I'm एक simple example लेता हूँ. And doesn't matter आपने कहाँ से कर रहे हो, जैसे भी कर रहे हो. Let's say आप pathology पढ़ रहे हो, you are saying I'll complete my pathology in 7 to 10 days. आप pediatrics कर रहे हो, radio कर रहे हो, whatever it is. So आपका goal क्या उन 7 days में? जो भी आप source use करो, maybe they can be the face-to-face classes, they can be the DBMCI live classes, they can be recorded lectures. The recorded lectures can be of 2 types. आपने आपके weak subjects आप main videos कर रहे हो, आपके strong subjects आप RR videos कर रहे हो. Doesn't matter. The goal in the 7 days when you're doing pathology is you read, notes आए, आपने PYQs करे, आपने PYQs आइडेंटिफाई किए इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक्स क्या हैं. Ideally, you should do some at least important topic of QBank you should try to solve. No denying that at that point of time. And after that, you should end it with a subject-wise test that gives you your proficiency, at least a immediate proficiency in that particular subject. This completes one subject. Ideally, when your subject is completed, by that time itself, you would have identified your strong and weak topics within the subject itself. On also, you would have identified कि मेरे को क्या याद नहीं रहता. So, for example, in pediatrics, you might easily remember cystic fibrosis. You'll easily remember, let's say, pneumonia, dehydration. These are easy things to remember. But you might forget the developmental milestones. You might forget. You definitely will forget कि how the height progresses. क्योंकि numbers हैं 50, 75, 87, 93, 94, 100. You might forget these numbers. So these important because you are doing the PYQs. You know what is the important thing. You know what you forget when you are given the subject-wise test. You know what you remember and what you forget. The things that you forget are volatile. Immediately take a day or immediately simultaneously write it down and concise your notes immediately. And in 20 subjects ki 19 subjects ki compilation is sometimes what people call as 20th notebooks. Some people have 19 small notebooks, right? I use 19 small notebooks. You can make a 20th notebook. For first and second prof, like instead of doing it in some other place, I used first aid जो मैं बता रहा होता हूँ. उसके बाद मैं भी नहीं रहूँगा, but आपके पास in the first aid itself, you should ideally have the revision material ready. The 20th notebook is not made during revision. It is made during first read itself. कि आपने जो सब्जेक्ट पढ़ा, by the time you complete, you already know that when I'm going to go for the second revision, first revision, second revision, third revision, what I'm going to revise. I'm not going to revise everything. अब फॉर एग्जाम्पल सिर्फ वही सर्जरी रेडियो का एग्जाम्पल ले लेते हैं. तो रेडियो में आप ये थोड़ा ना याद, आपको ये थोड़ा ना याद करना है कि एक्सरे पे एयर इज गोइंग टू बी ब्लैक, राइट? या पीडियाट्रिक्स में आपको ये थोड़ा ना याद करना है कि न्यूनेटल फॉर द फर्स्ट 6 months बेबी शुड बी ब्रेस्ट फेड. ये चीजें आपको याद है. These you have done in MBBS very thoroughly also, and in general you remember. But things you tend to forget. For example, I'll take your favorite example, sir. Toxo and CMV. It is very possible that in Toxo you will forget that Toxo has diffuse calcification and CMV has very ventricular calcification. And you might need so these things should go in your 20th concise notebooks. These things are frequently tested also in the exam. So how you know frequently tested? Because in the first read you are done with the PYQs. So first read the notes, whatever source, PYQs, ideally important topic QBank. If not done, that's still okay. And simultaneously making your 20th notebook or a small notebook of that particular subject, which then you will again and again revise in the second revision, third revision, and last 10-day revision. This is how you create your 20th notebook.
Yeah. And wrong copy is basically that a mistake that you are doing, just write it. Aditya, I want to share it. I do not know whether it used to happen with you all also or not. I have done PYQ, and let us say that in our exam there used to be 300 questions. So let us say that I have done 200 right. Okay. So then I will do the paper again, because PYQs are not something that you can do. You have to do only once. Then I have done the same paper again. And when I am doing the same paper again, ideally I have already completed that question, right? So I should do all the 300 right.
नहीं, ऐसा नहीं होगा सर. आप तब भी 200 ही लाओगे. आप तब भी 210 ही लाओगे.
210 तो नहीं है, तो तब भी 260 तक ठीक हो जाते थे, राइट? तीसरी बार भी जब पेपर कर रहे हो तब भी 284, 285, 286 ठीक होते थे. तो यानी कि ये जो 15-16 क्वेश्चंस है ना, ये तो आपकी जिंदगी में कभी नहीं नहीं वाले. तो व्हाट आई यूज्ड टू डू इज आई यूज्ड टू क्रिएट अ वन लाइनर ऑफ दैट, एंड देन आई यूज्ड टू राइट इट कि भाई इसको तो मैं लिख लेता हूं, ताकि अगर ये रिपीट ये आ गया एग्जाम में तो ये एग्जाम वाले दिन तो गलती नहीं करना है.
गलती नहीं करना.
आपको यू हैव टू मेक श्योर दैट यू आर रीडिंग इट अ डे बिफोर द एग्जाम. सो ऑल द क्वेश्चंस दैट यू आर रिपीटेडली डूइंग रॉन्ग, एटलीस्ट ऐसा कोई भी क्वेश्चन जो आपने 2 बार गलत किया है ना, उसको तो एक वन लाइनर बना के लिख लो. डेफिनेटली उसको वन लाइनर बना के लिख लो, एंड दैट इज व्हाट आई कॉल्ड एज अ रॉन्ग कॉपी, राइट? एंड यू हैव टू मेक श्योर दैट दीस थिंग्स. Another point that in the 20th notebook that I always say that you should write it down is that pure factual stuff which was one name at multiple places, right? Tram track. Now you will find it at many places, right? So it's a good idea to create what are the places in medical field where you see tram track. You remember tram track brain में पूछा तो चलो स्टर्च वेबर सिंड्रोम मार्क कर देंगे. Tram track eyes में पूछा तो CRAO मार्क कर देंगे. MRI ऑफ ऑर्बिट पे पूछा तो ऑप्टिक नर्व शीथ मेनिंजियोमा मार्क कर देंगे. ओके, अगर चेस्ट में पूछा तो ब्रोंकिक्टेसिस मार्क कर देंगे. ओके, पैथोलॉजी में किडनी में पूछा तो मेम्ब्रेनोप्रोलिफरेटिव ग्लोमेरुलोनेफ्राइटिस मार्क कर देंगे. फॉरेंसिक मेडिसिन में पूछा तो चलो पैटर्न ऑफ रीजन मार्क कर देंगे. माइक्रो में पूछा तो चलो हीमोफिलस ड्यूक्रियाई स्कूल ऑफ फिश अपीयरेंस मार्क कर देंगे. ऑर्थो में पूछा तो चलो योर एंकाइलोजिंग स्पॉन्डिलाइटिस ट्रॉली ट्रैक साइन मार्क कर देंगे. राइट, सो देयर आर सो मेनी प्लेसेस वेयर अ ट्रैम ट्रैक is seen. Now cherry red spot, a popcorn pattern, right? So these
Strawberry
are the word strawberry sign. Yeah, so you gonna see these are at many places. Write them down and make sure that you are reading it a day, 2 day, 3 day before the exam. And if it is asked in the exam, bang and mark it. Right. So the philosophy, guys, is very very simple. The strategy is very very simple. Do one very very thorough reading, identify your target exam. If you're targeting May INICET NEET PG, don't forget to write November INICET, but don't be in a hurry to complete your syllabus before November INICET. Right, take your sweet time for 5.5 months. Do your first reading, try to solve questions. If you're a DBMCI student, you are unable to solve the entire Q bank, don't bother about it. Don't bother too much about it. We are already giving you daily questions on the topics that you have covered. You have to make sure that you are solving those, plus you are solving previous year questions. You are writing 1 GT per month. Finish your first reading, start revising, revise your notes, back it up with the TND, do the TND in 2.5 to 3 months, then again revise. Then in the last 10-15 days, back it up with a one shot. If you have already created your 20th notebook, back it up with the 20th notebook. One shot will be a crisp conversion of reading it, and I'm telling you, you are very very close to reach to your desired rank. Do not forget to review the GT. Review the GT, specifically the questions that you knew the topic and you did wrong, and also the questions that you guessed and you did right, because this was a guesswork that worked today,
today
but we are not sure whether it will work in the exam also.
in the exam or not.
Stay positive, stay happy. A happy mind imbibe far better. जग कैसा मेरे जैसा. Remember, you will see what you want to see. If you want to see positivity in the world, you will see positivity. If you want to see negativity in the world, you will see negativity. And I'm telling you, this world is running because there are positive people in the world. And I'm telling you, if you think positive, your life will become positive.
Good things will happen to you.
You
You do
you
attract.
you will keep on thinking, यार ये गलत हो रहा है, गलत हो रहा है. I'm telling you, दुनिया में आपको सारी चीजें गलत दिखने लग जाएंगी, और आप ये सोचो कि नहीं, everything that is happening for the good. Suddenly you will start realizing that everything that is happening in the life is happening for your good. Right? It's your perception, the way that you want to live the life. In the last 5-10 years, I have started living the life with lot of positivity, that the things that are happening for the good. Stay positive. If you think that we can do anything for you, please reach out to us. We will be more than happy to be a part of your journey. I know it's a tough time. 1 year of preparation for a competitive exam for a medico's life is probably the toughest time in the medico's life. If you think that we can support you in any form, we will feel privileged to be a part of your journey. That's all from our side. Thank you very much for watching this session. Do let us know that if we can do anything for you. Thanks Dr. Aditya for joining me. Thank you everyone for joining me on this session.